What's going on? It's Steve Larson. I want to teach you guys sales funnel stages, specifically how to map and plan your funnel. Now, I have a very unique way that I build funnels. I have a very unique pattern for how I do it, but it's the same pattern that I've been doing for about 5 years now. And it is actually the thing that has allowed me to step away from that role too. It's a very specific process that I even handed to somebody else. I built a lot of sales funnels. I worked at the mecca of sales funnels for a couple of years and loved that place. It was awesome. But when I was there, I started noticing patterns in how we would build funnels. Not to keep hanging on to that, it was 5 years ago. But the point is that I came with a process. It's the order of the funnel build. When I used to build funnels in the past, I would literally just open up ClickFunnels and I would start just building. And I'd go find other pages that look good and I'd build the funnel. Once the funnel was done, I'd be like, well, what should I sell? Like, it's funny that that's how I thought it worked. Then I would come up with the offer. And then I'd be like, well, what messaging should I put in there? And then I would write the sales message. I don't know how I could call a funnel done without those things, but I would. Those funnels never worked. They were awful. And so what I want to share with you in this video is my process, not just for how to map and plan the funnel, but when do you actually start thinking about the funnel? Because thinking about the funnel is not actually part of my process until step 10. There is a ton of research that I do now prior to ever thinking about the funnel, what it looks like, what it's gonna feel like, what's on it, like the video, none of that stuff. I don't think about any of that anymore without a very strict process, and that's what I'm gonna teach you. In this video is a training I did live in front of a couple hundred people, and showing with them, I got 2 formulas and I'm gonna mold them together. One formula will show you how to think like a marketer and an entrepreneur and a CEO. And the next formula that I use once I'm done with that one is a project management lens on how I put the funnel out the door. I'm gonna teach you how they mold together, whether you want to execute it yourself or learn this to hand this off to someone else to do for you. This is crucial information. Let's cut over. What I want to share with you guys today is my formula for how I design and launch a funnel. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to walk through this formula now, share with you guys just at a really high level what it is that I'm in the middle of. And having done this a lot of times now, this is a big deal. And my formula continues to expand and it still comes back to these same 12 principles in a specific order, but that's different than the project planning and management. And it's a matter of when you do them, and you're wearing all these different hats. You're wearing the CEO hat for a bit, right? Then you're putting on the marketer hat and entrepreneurship, then back to marketer, then back to CEO. Then once you've done that, you're going out to the team. And that's when I put CMO on. And I'm not trying to put all these terms out, but where you can get clarity on vocab, you get a huge accelerant. For example, Robert Kiyosaki teaches that if you want to take on a skill really quickly, the first thing you got to do is learn that skill's vocab. If you can speak the language of a skill, even if you don't know the skill, you're going to understand 80% of what is involved with that skill. So it's no different here. So if you check this out, this is a legitimate real life challenge that we are putting together. This is still the same formula. If it's a high ticket, low ticket, online, offline, doesn't matter. It's the formula. What I do is I put together basically a presentation. It usually takes me, to be honest, 2 or 3 days. By the way, you are one funnel away. What you're not is you're not one campaign away. It takes a lot of campaigns to the one funnel. You'll see that what I'm doing is this is just for the internal team. Up here in the top right up here, what I do is I give a little bit of a value ladder update to the internal team. Hey guys, because of this new project, here's how the value ladder updates. Here's where this project fits and how it relates to the other funnels that we have out there. Then what I do is I go through and you'll see right here on this one, what this is I walk through first of all and I say, hey, let's take a snapshot of where we are in the business. We also take a goal. And right now what I'm doing is I'm wearing the CEO hat. To be a CEO is to be a master and tweaker of systems, business systems. That's it. We put way too much romanticization on CEO, by the way, in my opinion. I don't like being the CEO. I'd much rather be a marketer. All right, so the snapshot and the goal, what we do is we say, all right, here's the goal I'm going for. And we're like, cool, here's the peak, right? Let's say it's like a mountain peak. We're like, cool, we're going to go for that peak. Sweet. Everyone knows how to set goals. But I don't set like pie in the sky goals. I set a goal that is like a profit goal. The reason we set before that is what I call a snapshot is because that's like, okay, here's where we are and here's where we're trying to go. You have to know both. Brutal honesty in where you are, a snapshot of the assets you have availability to you. Not doing this would be like using the Maps app on your phone and it doesn't show you your current location. It takes brutal honesty in where you are and where you are not to do those first 2 steps. I find that most people want a safe face. So they're like, well, I'm further along than I am. Just don't do that, right? You're going to rob your future dream. The snapshot and the goal, we're wearing CEO hat. What's the state of the business and what do we need this project to do? The reason we do that is so just like we do in a webinar pitch when we say, here's how it looks like to win, right? We set a ruler. This is what I'm going to teach you today. And you do that so that you can tell them and control what it looks like to win. What we do is we're saying, this is what this looks like for this funnel to win. Do you ever set those metrics ahead of time? Like you should. what does it look like for this funnel to win? Otherwise, we end up falling into a trap many times that says, well, I just need this to make $1 million. Like, yeah, okay, but like, do you? Or does it just need to break even and send leads to the next funnel? You see what I'm saying? Like, set that bar. Then what I do is I'm moving into the toughest, hardest part of the entire game. The who, the where, and the positioning. Those three are really marketing, but entrepreneurship needs them pretty bad. Otherwise, you make an offer for you instead of a market. The very key thing that I just said. So what I do is I'm getting clarity on the who. Who do I want to sell? The dream customer, not the could-be customer, not the, hey, you have a credit card and you have money, you're going to buy from me customer. That's not a dream. Dream customer. The way he sells someone often determines the style of your relationship post-purchase. So I have to beg them to buy. I will beg them in fulfillment. That's a huge lesson. You know, like on that Facebook ads thing where you're like choosing your audience size and you got that wheel and it's like it goes from like red to yellow and then green. We don't want that. We're doing the exact opposite. We want narrow, tight. We're talking about psychographics here, not market size. That's why it's a different thing. We want clear, clean, defined, very tight psychographics. I don't care about demographics. I don't care about geographics. That's what stuff college taught me about choosing a dream customer. I don't care about that crap. How do they think? That's what I want to know. That is copywriting and page writing gold. This is the reason why I do this before ever building a funnel. It's certainly before opening something like ClickFunnels up. This takes me usually a day. And if you go copy this, like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to pull it off. There's so much underlying that's going on right here. The point of this is I'm trying to teach you guys funnel building is an amazing skill set, and it is not even thought about until step 10 in my process. There's so much research that I do prior to ever building a funnel. So much. And behind the scenes, what's happening is really where the magic is happening. And you can do all this stuff and have a crappy funnel and probably make a lot of money. Don't get pissed when I say this, but the funnel, in my opinion, is like the smallest, least important part of my entire formula. You can have a sucky, awful funnel and do well on psychographic profiling, do well on your marketplace selection, do well on your launch, do well in the way you write a sales message, and have kind of an even crappy offer and still make a lot of money. You see what I'm saying? We don't unromanticize the funnel, man. Unromanticize it. I'm not saying it's not important. It's wildly important. It is so freaking important, okay? Without the funnel, it means you're the funnel, which means you're going to start doing the sales message and the offer. That's all a funnel is a message and an offer. And if you don't have a great message and a great offer, that sucks. What we're doing is we're saying, look, CEO hat, marketer hat, marketer hat, marketer hat, but then we start diving on into really the entrepreneurship hat. Entrepreneurship is really just these two steps. What problem are you going to solve and how are you going to solve it? That's it. Entrepreneurship is they're in the business of finding and solving a valuable problem in a valuable way. That's all entrepreneurship is. We highly romanticize the entrepreneur role as a nation for some reason and community for some reason also. It's the marketer, baby. Marketers are what make money, not entrepreneurs. It's the marketer, not even the entrepreneur, that actually makes the offer. You realize, oh my gosh, offer creation is strongly a marketer's role. Entrepreneurs' whole goal is to find an issue and you make this product, this solution, as sexy as you possibly can. You make that thing wildly valuable. You blow everyone else out of the water. But an offer is not just a big stack of products. Ooh, look, that's my offer. That's not an offer. An offer is one product with a ton of ways to use it and make it useful. Once you're back in the marketer seat and mindset, you have to do the offer and the message kind of at the same time. Those are done together. These two are done together while the offer and the message are done together. After that, once I actually have the message and the offer written and done, then I think about the funnel. You see that I draw it out. And no matter how many times I built a funnel, I still draw it. Then what I go do is actually design the launch. And then what I do after that is I design lead flow, I call it lead flow design. And I do that for the launch and I also do it for evergreen. That's kind of a newer principle. And then I do the evergreen model. That's what keeps the project alive once I've done the thing. What I do is I'm executing these 12 parts in a specific order. And once these 12 parts are being executed and I have, frankly, a lot of research and clarity done, I like to draw it all out. You can launch your way to several $1 million. I mean, I'm not saying you can't make a huge amount of money. Some people make fun of the launch model. It's like, I made millions of dollars with the launch model. There's nothing wrong with the launch model, but it is also not sustainable. It's not scalable. You do get tired. I'm the Energizer Bunny, baby, and I definitely hit a huge burnout phase and had to recover from that. What you need to do is you got to learn how to evergreen, which is very much goes back to a CEO mentality. Systems, systems, systems. If the decision in the company cannot be made without your involvement, it means you're the business still. This is a big topic right there, the evergreening piece. And the primary one we go for is content. Content that is specifically designed for lead gen. Not riffing content, not the type of content where you wake up. I did this for 2 years. You wake up and you're like, well, I'm due to put out a podcast today. What did I learn last week? Riff, riff, riff. That's not how you make lead-based content. I was stuck in that trap forever. So what we do is a ton of research. There are so many freaking formulas inside that one step, right? So many. And what we do is we're figuring out what types of content will bring leads back to the funnel, all the way to the top, right? Bring leads all the way back to the funnel forever, long-term. Chances of it dying are very small. And then whatever's spun off of that, that's what goes into ads. Albert Lasker, he's the guy that invented orange juice to save Sunkist, mid-1950s, early 1950s. He said, the product that will not sell without ads is not going to sell with ads. Ads aren't the answer. I'm not here to throw rocks at ads. We use ads, but it's when we use them that matters. So I never sprint to ads when I get a funnel done. If I can't sell it without ads, I definitely won't with them. Ads are an accelerant. They're gas on the fire, not the fire. And this is how I do it. It's a combination of internet launch secrets, while this one over here is called Sales Funnel Officer. It's hard to know who does what in a business structure, classic business structure, without constantly looking at the marketer. And it's like, there's a lot of companies, like ClickFunnels, right? All the marketers that are there, they're not necessarily the ones making all the key decisions. So I kind of invented a role called Sales Funnel Officer. And the Sales Funnel Officer is the one controlling and doing this entire thing and managing the project and putting it out the door. Difference between 5, 6, 7 figure 8 launch is promo time. That's it. And if it worked once, it'll likely work again. So you can relaunch stuff that's already been launched. I strongly encourage it. Hopefully it's been helpful for you guys today. Those are at an extremely high level, the 12 pieces, and then the project management and disseminating process and how it works in the calendar of the launch itself. I try to make that launch pushed out as far as I conceivably do it. You want to make more money? Don't finish a funnel yesterday and launch today. Finish a funnel for sure, but launch in 2 months, launch in 3 months, build pressure, take that time, have that patience. Then learn how to evergreen it so you don't have to live and survive off of a launch business, which is what I did for a while, and that's extremely stressful.